They say loyalty is priceless until you discover that the people you trusted have already sold you out.
I've seen a lot of posts about the Big Meech concert getting canceled. What I'm not seeing is anybody blaming Rick Ross for this shit. Nobody is saying, yo, Rick Ross, it's your fault, so I'ma do it. Yo, Rick Ross, this shit is your fault.
For Big Meech, that revelation hit hard the moment he stepped out of prison and found himself locked in a new kind of battle. The man who once commanded respect and admiration under the Black Mafia family banner is now pointing fingers in every direction, most loudly at Rick Ross. Why?
You the reason why Big Meech is going through this shit out here right now, you heard? Because when we was on the internet talking about the Cuffy case and all that, nobody even really gave a fuck.
Because Ross, once painting himself as Meech's ally, seems to be cozied up to none other than 50 Cent. And if there's one thing Meech didn't expect, it's watching his so-called supporter stand shoulder to shoulder with his former friend turned rival. But beneath all the public shots and social media jabs, there's a deeper betrayal lurking, one that might shatter what's left of the BMF legacy for good. When Big Meech finally walked through those prison gates, people expected a hero's welcome. After all, he had spent years behind bars, and the stories of BMF's power and influence had only grown more legendary in his absence. He had an empire's lore waiting for him.
Against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal.
And supporters assumed the streets would roll out the red carpet. But that vision of a triumphant comeback crashed into cold reality. Sure, a few old friends reached out. Promises were made, dinners were scheduled, and big talks about redefining BMF for the new era floated around. One of the loudest voices offering assistance was Rick Ross, a figure with enough fame and fortune to make big claims. At first, it looked like a dream collaboration, Meech's brand power combined with Ross's reach. Only, just under the surface, friction with 50 Cent was intensifying. Meech might have hoped to reunite with 50, the man who had introduced his family's story to a global audience through that BMF TV series. Instead, he watched Ross ramp up a feud with 50, fueling his own pride in a way that put Meech in the crossfire. Nobody expected it to escalate so quickly, but rumors of tension started rippling online, and Meech found himself needing to pick a side. He didn't know it then, but that decision, turning away from 50's proven track record and jumping into Rick Ross's arms, would lead to a betrayal so deep, Meech might not ever recover his footing.
February 13th, the Big Meech home benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, it's the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This shit gonna be special. Epic. Get your tickets right now. I'm back.
But as shocking as that sounds, this was only the first sign that Meech's return to the spotlight would be anything but a celebratory homecoming. To understand why this clash is causing such a stir, you have to revisit the bedrock of BMF itself. Built on a code of loyalty and brotherhood, the Black Mafia family brand became emblematic of hustling, success, and a street-savvy empire. Big Meech represented ambition and generosity, mingled with rumors of unstoppable power. That's the legend that made BMF larger than life. When 50 Cent decided to bring that story to television, he effectively resurrected Meech's name for a new generation. While Meech served his sentence, the BMF show gained traction, new fans, and media attention. Meanwhile, Lil Meech stepped forward, starring as his father in a project that made him a rising name. On paper, this might have looked like perfect synergy, Meech's actual son and 50 Cent working to preserve the BMF saga, but fast forward to the present, and the brand is in turmoil. Rumors swirl that Big Meech feels overlooked in the show's profits. Others whisper that his name got overshadowed by 50's marketing genius, or maybe Meech harbors distrust after so many years locked away. Whatever the reason, his old code of loyalty is being put to the ultimate test. And it's not just about him anymore. Lil Meech, too, is caught in the storm, forced to figure out whether blood truly is thicker than water when the entire industry is waiting for him to slip.
So, I just want to say, or I want to ask you, did you think that shit was a good idea in hindsight? Do you think it was a good idea to be in the video with me talking about Sexy Red?
Sexy Red.
Yeah, you think that was a good idea? Also, How you let that nigga get the show canceled in Florida?
Yet even these cracks in the foundation pale in comparison to a rumor so explosive, it threatens to tear BMF apart from the inside. Rick Ross has never been shy about stirring the pot, especially where 50 Cent is involved. Their feud stretches back well over a decade, fueled by diss tracks, lawsuits, and sensational headlines. Ross has thrown barbs about 50's finances, while 50 mocked Ross's background as a correctional officer. Yes, that old rumor. It's personal, and it runs deep. So, when the chance arose to align himself with Big Meech, someone closely linked to 50, Ross saw an opportunity. Insiders claim Ross offered Meech financial support, dangled opportunities, and even talked big about reinvesting in the BMF name. Initially, Meech was flattered by the prospect of partnering with another top-tier rapper, and perhaps he felt Ross would boost his post-prison hustle faster than 50, who was busy with numerous other TV ventures. But alliances in the music industry can be as slippery as an iced sidewalk. Ross's history of playing chess in these feuds signaled that he might be capitalizing on Meech's vulnerability. What better way to get under 50's skin than by convincing the BMF boss to turn away from a man who gave his son a career? Was Ross truly there to help, or was he just eager for a chance to outmaneuver 50 in a game of power moves and petty jabs? Transition hint: Meech's partnership with Ross sets off a chain of events where hidden deals and shocking allegations bubble to the surface. From the moment Meech started leaning on Ross, the rumor mill began spinning tales of hidden agendas. One story claims that Meech planned a massive comeback concert under the BMF banner, expecting headliners and major hype. But at the last minute, everything imploded. Venues pulled out, artists ghosted, and ticket sales flatlined. Fingers started pointing in every direction. Some conspiracies say 50 Cent used his industry connections to sabotage the event behind closed doors, effectively shutting down Meech's homecoming spectacle. Others argue that Ross never intended to follow through, that he simply lured Meech away from 50 to watch him fail. In the midst of this fiasco, Meech found himself with no backup plan, no big event, and a tarnished reputation. The internet lit up with speculation. Did 50 quietly orchestrate the fiasco so Meech wouldn't overshadow the BMF show? Did Ross pull his support to embarrass both 50 and Meech? Whispers about snitch papers, canceled deals, and manipulation soared through social media, leaving Meech more isolated than ever. But the real bombshell, according to sources close to the situation, is that Meech might have made an even bigger mistake behind the scenes. He was so focused on Ross's promise of a quick comeback that he never saw the trap closing in on him. And once the trap was sprung, everyone, including Lil Meech, got caught in the fallout. Transition hint. But this story takes an even darker turn, one involving federal informants and hush-hush deals. Mention Big Meech on the streets, and you hear endless praise about loyalty and gangster ethics. But there's an uncomfortable rumor that's been circling for years: the possibility Meech cooperated with the authorities, directly or indirectly, to reduce his sentence. According to some insider chatter, a known federal informant once connected to Meech helped broker negotiations that led to him coming home earlier than expected. The same story suggests that certain longtime associates of Meech ended up facing serious charges around the same time. People started connecting dots. If Meech got out early and others got locked up, who might have sold whom out? Now, is there concrete proof Meech outright cut deals? Not necessarily. He fiercely denies such claims. His supporters say it's all gossip meant to tear down the BMF name. But critics and cynics see the handwriting on the wall. Documents referencing a female informant aligned with Meech, longtime friends being ambushed by law enforcement, and questionable coincidences in legal filings. Meanwhile, Rick Ross's involvement only adds to the suspicion. If Ross knew about these rumors, why step in to help Meech? Was it a genuine act of friendship, or was he collecting ammunition to eventually use against 50, painting Meech as a puppet with messy secrets? Regardless, these allegations of compromised loyalty weigh heavily on a man whose entire brand is built on unwavering devotion to the code of the streets. And as whispers of sealed deals and betrayal grow louder, Lil Meech is left in an impossible position. For Lil Meech, everything changed when his father came home. He was no longer just the star of a breakout TV series. He was also the son of a returning king with enemies and frenemies all around. While 50 Cent had been a mentor, paying for acting lessons and polishing Lil Meech into a viable actor, Big Meech expected unwavering loyalty from his child. Suddenly, Lil Meech was fielding phone calls about canceled concerts and rumored backdoor deals. Ross's people might have offered help with finances. 50's team quietly suggested that Lil Meech avoid aligning too closely with the man who was undermining his own father's brand, or so it seemed. Trapped between paternal loyalty and the obligations of show business, Lil Meech made some awkward moves. Social media screenshots started leaking. Private texts between Lil Meech and 50, swirling with apologies and confusion. He allegedly confessed that Ross was covering his father's bills, leaving him no choice but to show some gratitude. Yet at the same time, he pleaded for 50 to understand he never intended to betray the man who gave him his big break. None of it looked good publicly. Fans accused Lil Meech of riding 50's coattails until his father returned, then abandoning ship. Others blamed Big Meech for forcing his son into an unwinnable loyalty test. And as the negativity grew, so did the rift. The father and son BMF duo found themselves in increasingly murky waters, with internet onlookers picking sides like it was a championship game. Still, the biggest shocker is how 50 Cent reacts once the betrayal becomes undeniable. 50 Cent has always been a master at playing the long game. While people might expect him to blast enemies openly, the truth is he often lets them tie their own noose first. In the case of Big Meech, it seems no different. Take the Welcome Home concert fiasco. The official statement cited unforeseen circumstances when it was abruptly canceled, but many suspect 50's fingerprints all over that. He fueled speculation by posting the canceled flyer online alongside mocking captions, essentially telling fans he felt sorry for them, but had nothing to do with it. Few believed his innocence. Then came the rumored final straw. Behind-the-scenes whispers that the BMF TV series might scale back, or even get cut from future seasons. Without 50's support, Lil Meech's star power could dim. The entire franchise that once highlighted the BMF story could transition to new projects, leaving the Flannery name in the background. To some, this is 50's quiet payback for Meech's missteps. Meanwhile, 50 posts cryptic messages seemingly poking fun at any notion of cooperation or snitching, stirring the pot just enough so fans see who he's implying. He never outright names Big Meech as a snitch, but he doesn't have to. He lets the rumors breathe on their own. The result is a ticking time bomb for Meech's reputation, which could permanently stain his once indestructible persona. And now, after all these mounting tensions, the final clash is here. The moment Meech lashes out, only to discover just how alone he truly is. In a twist that no one saw coming, Big Meech finally spoke out, directing his anger at Rick Ross. Gone was the confidence that Ross would stand by his side. Instead, Meech felt double-crossed by a man who seemed more intent on vexing 50 Cent than genuinely helping a returning icon. The same promises of financial security and renewed fame evaporated under the harsh spotlight of the industry's volatile politics. Suddenly, Meech was left with a lonely truth. The only person who had truly invested in his legacy, flaws and all, was the very individual he spurned. 50 Cent might be notorious for stirring feuds, but he had also single-handedly resurrected the BMF brand for a modern audience. Rick Ross, on the other hand, appeared more like a fleeting ally, leveraging Meech's name for strategic advantage against 50. Lil Meech, caught in the middle, is now watching his father wrestle with a harsh lesson about loyalty, while his own future in entertainment remains uncertain. The BMF banner, once revered, is tangled in controversies about alleged deals, broken promises, and a suspicious wave of canceled plans. So where does this leave BMF? Will Big Meech recover the respect he once commanded, or has his empire crumbled beyond repair? Even more unsettling, what if the BMF story, once a paragon of street unity, becomes a cautionary tale about quick betrayals and hidden bargains? These are the questions left behind as Meech lashes out, Ross retreats, and 50 Cent sits back with a knowing grin. Final thought: when the dust settles, the loudest lesson might be this: not every handshake is a sign of trust, and not every smiling face is there to help. In an industry where power often trumps principle, Big Meech and the entire BMF saga stand as a stark reminder that loyalty is only as strong as the checks backing it. And in the end, no one's as dangerous as the friend you turned into an enemy.